Hi, I'm Annie. This is Books with Annie. I will be doing a read it or unhaul it kind of vlog today because I love watching this content on YouTube and I'm hoping you do too. So stick around to see what books I read and my thoughts on those books. Let's start with my first draw. My jar is actually behind you. I wasn't prepared apparently. Okay, so I have not put in most of my new books. So we'll see. The different colors do represent different things, but I can't remember what that means. I just know I don't want orange. So let's see. I think we're going to do 3, maybe. Let's start with this one. Of course, it's orange. Oh, 2 oranges. You know, because I don't want to read orange, we're going to read both and see which one I want to pick. The Princess Bride, okay. And Charlotte's Web. Classic fantasy or classic children's book? I think I'm going to go with Princess Bride. So I'll put Charlotte's Web back in there. Let's pick again. Let's do this one. And that is Monstrous, which is a graphic novel. Also, sorry about the lighting. It's a situation. And then again, let's do 4 since we did get a graphic novel. Okay, let's see what these are because they're stuck together. Okay, The Bodyguard by Catherine Center or When the Moon Hatched. We're going to go with The Bodyguard because When the Moon Hatched is a giant fantasy that I am not in the mood for. One more. Got this one. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, which is a manga. So we have a graphic novel, a manga, a classic, and a romance. This will be a very interesting reading week. I'm not mad at it though. Stick around, watch me read these books. I hope I enjoy them. Some of them are really anticipated for me. I've been meaning to read The Bodyguard for a really long time. And I've had I Want to Eat Your Pancreas on my shelf for literal years. So I think it'll be good. I'm excited.
It was busy. I was exhausted. Like May kind of kicked my butt, which I did read. We had Warbreaker for a reread and like random number generator, which I have started. We had The High King for a paperback. We had Reckless for a book that ends in an odd page number, which I did read. Sorry, I also read The High King. I read Reckless. We have
So I just finished this and sobbed my eyes out. I knew this was going to be emotional. The back literally says bittersweet romance, but my goodness. Like, what? This was incredible and so heartbreaking. And there's a plot twist. And that's what got me. And if I think about it for too long, I'm going to cry again. So I just wanted to let you know I finished this book. I've had this for years. Oh my goodness. It was so good. I highly recommend this book. I don't think I ever actually said what it's about. So basically, there's this girl who's sick. She has a pancreas disease. And this boy who's really shy and keeps to himself. And he finds out her secret. She hasn't told anybody besides her family that she's sick. And he finds out. It's the bond that they develop and their friendship. And it's really, really sweet. And yeah, there's a lot of discussions about life and love and friendship and who we are as people. And it is so good. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. yeah, if you want a good cry too, that's expected but unexpected, pick it up. But yeah, oh my goodness, I need a break from that because that broke my heart. That really hurt me, but it was so. Okay, so I did end up finishing The Princess Bride today, by William Goldman, and I had a fun time. I don't think I realized that this was a book that was abridged. That's cool. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna stick to rewatching the movie. This was fine. It just wasn't anything fantastic. I say that. I gave it 3.5 stars, which is better than average. I enjoyed the storytelling aspects and the characters and the way that the story was written. However, I didn't love the kind of where there are abridged moments and we're kind of just supposed to follow along with something when so much was cut out, if that makes sense. So, like, there was one part, I think, where, we're following along in the story and then he cuts to the author saying, okay, and in the original works, there's 16 pages of Inigo having like a monologue, basically. And I cut that out because it's not important. The basic gist was this. That part was a little bit much because it did happen quite often. Um, and then there were just some plot conveniences that I didn't necessarily enjoy, as it kind of did make it feel rushed. So, that being said, we still need to finish Monstrous Volume 1 and The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I am on chapter 12, and I think I can get some good work done on this book tonight and either finish it tonight or sometime tomorrow. So we're just going to leave it at that. I will come back to you once I have more updates. I just finished this and I enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars, and I have a few reasons why. There were moments where I was definitely hooked and I could not wait to pick it back up. But there were also points where I was just like, okay, that's kind of ridiculous. I don't really feel like reading that. I don't feel like finishing this book. I am glad that I did. However, it was interesting. I think the author tried to really show us how good Hannah is at her job at the very, very end and tried to throw us a cliffhanger, a red herring. And while, yes, that worked, it kind of seemed like it was out of nowhere, kind of ridiculous, a little bit over the top, if that makes sense. And again, I'm really happy that I read this. I gave it 3.5 stars. I would recommend it. Um, but it's not spicy, which is fine. I don't need that in my books, but it isn't spicy if that's something that you do want. And I did like the dynamic between Hannah and Jack and the conversation about women being bodyguards and what it means to, kind of work in such a male dominated field. That was a good discussion, and I really enjoyed Jack's family and his background and how their mutual grief really drew them together and drew them close. I hate Hannah's ex. He's awful. which is definitely the point, but sometimes it felt very over the top, very exaggerated, and just kind of like excessive, you know? So that was really my main issue. But I did, again, love my time reading it for the most part. There were, again, parts that I just could not get through, and I had to literally force myself to continue reading. But it was set in my home city, Houston. I'm not from Houston proper or Katy, but I'm from really close to Katy. So it was kind of fun to read about Houston and see what was accurate, what wasn't accurate. Most of it was accurate, I would say. And yeah, it was a good read, a very quick, easy read. It's under right at 305, 300, 302, 302 pages. So it's a very quick, easy romance to read, and it's a fun time for the most part. So yeah, now just one last book to read. Okay, it's a little later, same day, and I've showered, washed my hair, and I've started Monstrous Volume 1, and I made it to Chapter 2, which is not very far into it, but it's still a good enough chunk. I don't care. I don't care. That's the best way to, I guess, say it. I'm confused. I'm annoyed. I don't have any attachment. And I got to this page where there's big text blocks that are, news articles. There's a lot of dialogue. And I was just like, I don't want to read that. I don't care enough to read that. I know you're probably telling me it's a graphic novel. It's super easy to fly through, and normally you'd be right. Normally I would just push through. But this is a high fantasy graphic novel series that is multiple volumes, and if I don't care after the first chapter of the first volume, I have no desire to read it, and I should just accept that and move on. So as this is a read it or not, read it or unhaul it, tackle my TBR, whatever you want to call this vlog, I'm not going to continue. So why bother? I do love the art style though. It's gorgeous, very detailed. And I feel like people could really appreciate this. In fact, I know people really appreciate this. It's just not for me. And I know that. So I just need to move on. With that being said, though, I have read or DNF'd 4 books. Not really. 1 graphic novel, 1 manga, and 2 books. So, to recap, I DNF'd Monstrous Volume 1. I read The Princess Bride, and I gave it 3 stars. 3 or 3.5, I can't remember. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. I read and absolutely I enjoyed it so much. I would highly recommend it. And then The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, I also read and finished and gave 3.5 stars. This is the first time that I have completed one of these TBRs, because normally if I think about filming this, it just puts me in a huge reading slump. And I'm actually really happy with the books that I read, because I DNF'd what wasn't working for me, and I got to read 3 books that I probably would have kept putting off had I not picked them for this. So really happy with that progress, really excited to have these read and get one off of my shelves completely. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's vlog. And please stick around, because my next one is going to be continuing series, which is always so fun. And if you'd like to see another version of this video, please let me know down in the comments below, because I had a lot of fun and I would highly consider doing this again. So just let me know. And even if you don't let me know, I'm probably going to do it again. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun. So please like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. I'd love to have you here. Bye.